Hi, everybody out there in cyberspace. This is Sharif, and today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit more intellectual. That's why I'm going to keep my glasses on. Actually, to be honest, I actually hate intellectualism on some level, so I don't want to pretend to be pompous and pretentious and somehow smarter or somehow more right in the subjects I talk about or in the way I speak or whatever. But anyway, I'm just kidding around about that part. I just thought that the glasses would be more of the theme. I wanted to talk about how a lot of successful people, as you may have noticed, are very much into reading. And of course, usually in their field or whatever is useful to them, studying, kind of being book nerds, bookworms, and not just for anything, but things that are relevant to their mission, their overall mission. Because as we know, positive people think about what they want and how they're going to get it, and oftentimes reading is going to help them to figure out how. And also, the other thing I wanted to say was I kind of had this insight this morning about more of why. I mean, there's obviously all the obvious reasons: knowledge is power, education, studying, to help you build your strategy, and so on and so forth. There's so many things that could be said about why reading is good and why that's obvious. Becoming smarter and just more educated, obviously, and where you can do with that in terms of leveraging it. That's clear. But what I really understood, which was at least to me not so clear, was a much deeper and less superficial reason. Not just for getting ahead or having some kind of certification or being having completed some scholarly achievement. It's actually something much, much, much deeper and much less superficial. You ever notice how a lot of the most successful people are always saying it's not about money in the end? You always want to think, yeah, okay, I'm sure they really mean that, but like I'm also, let's say, a lot of people might be like, it's not like I'm that into money, so how come I'm not like on a huge stack of gold? Do you know what I mean? No, but the reason is because there's actually a deeper message there, and I found out that yeah, through the reading, this can be achieved. And what that is kind of unlocking who you really are. It's not just a matter of unlocking the opportunities for you to be able to do what you want to do, but for you to be able to unlock who you really are in the first place in every single facet and respect, and therefore having a better grip on what it is you really want. You might learn that you want something that you didn't even know that you wanted, or that you are something or someone that you didn't even know you were, because you were able to process that information. Of course, you could get the similar experience just in your regular life experience, something that happened out in the wild, or just in your ordinary life, or in your close relationships, or other things that you're into. But the book, the that format, the ancient format, is still so relevant today. You're reading text, um, is an extremely dense way to take in information. So if it's very high quality and very valuable information that is integral to your path and to you and what you really believe in, or who you really see yourself as ultimately, then that's going to be a very efficient way to basically explore not only what's out there in the world, much more quickly and easily, of course, which is why literature has always been so popular, but also to be able to explore within yourself. A lot of readers have experienced this to some degree, but if you're just, let's say, reading fantasy or fiction, it could be a little bit distant or indirect. I mean, it will unlock some emotions, and sometimes very deeply, and sometimes it can even be life changing as well. But when you're on a mission, when you have a strategy, when you have a vision, when you have a direction that you're going, when you're in charge, when you're proactive, when you're making the choices of where you want to go, in your life, like most successful people are, and then you're reading about something that is relevant, uh, not just to some goal or to some status, or position or fame or something like that, but something fulfilling, completely fulfilling as a human being, as part of the human experience. When you read those books, it's unlocking those things you're really looking for, what you really want, the real process you need that goes beyond just some superficial work regimen. Though those things are very important, don't get me wrong, it's unlocking your real goal and your real origin, who you really are and what you really believe in, what your stances and understandings are, what you truly want, beyond the limitations of what you've already experienced or thought was reality or true, kind of opening up what reality even is to you and seeing things in a new light, learning about yourself more deeply and more richly. And that's what where real riches are and real successes are, is finding the riches within your own heart, your own soul. That's, the point, really. It's not about what level am I at? Because anyone who works at something hard enough, smart enough, focused enough, concentrated enough, consistently enough, is creative enough, is putting everything that they've got into it, is going to do well in it. That's not something as special as everybody makes it seem. It just because it stands out, it glows, it shines. That's why people like it. People like shiny things. But anyone can achieve that, and that's such a positive and wonderful message. But it's not for that. It's not for the image. It's not for other people to look at you because you're shining. Um, it's for you to be who you should be and reach your true potential. And for other people not to just adore you and praise you or idolize you, but for them to see that they can do that too, that they can be their ultimate self, that they can always improve who they are right now, to be a self that they didn't even know that they could be or achieve, just even beyond conception, as to how good and amazing, in some cases you already are and maybe not realizing it, or could be, if you're not on as much of a positive path. And that's that's so important, and so much more important than any of those superficial things. So it's quite ironic, because you come to realize when you learn about, more rich and successful people, that in fact these people are quite deep, a lot of them. Of course, a lot of them are still human and make a lot of mistakes, and because there's a lot more stakes to what they do, a lot more money. A slight human vice or flaw is going to appear like a huge evil plot to hurt people. But I mean, at least a lot of where the success seems to come from, I wouldn't say is in the corruption or the bad ways, which is perhaps a small percentage of the really rich people. It's maybe some of them might be very rich, but it's not even real riches. And most truly successful and rich people, they made it because of they really believed in what they were doing. It didn't matter. Most of them didn't even care if they were going to fail. That's not even the point. Like I said, it's they're seeking something much deeper than what can ever be manifested in this world. So on that note, this has been Sharif. I hope this provided some insight, some consciousness. This was going to be on the blog, of course, and I'll catch you next time. Take care. Much love. Peace.